Before you sleep tonight, I want you to pause for a moment. Don't rush into tomorrow. Don't carry today's stress into your dreams. Close your eyes for a second and ask yourself, did I truly live today, or did I just exist? Did I connect with the higher power, or was I only running behind the noise of this world? Tonight, before you rest your body, let us awaken your soul. Because the way you sleep tonight will decide the energy with which you rise tomorrow. This is not just a talk, it's a life-changing reflection. If you truly listen with your heart, tonight can be the turning point of your life. Imagine for a moment that you are lying down at the end of a long day. The world outside is silent, but inside your mind there is still noise. Conversations replaying, tasks left undone, worries that cling like shadows. In this moment, before sleep takes you, there is one thought that can transform everything: gratitude to the divine. Gratitude is not just saying, thank you. It is an inner awakening. It is the choice to see what has gone right instead of obsessing over what went wrong. It is the awareness that every breath you took today was a gift. Every step you walked was supported by the earth. Every meal you had was provided by the grace of God. Gratitude makes us rich, not because it fills our pockets, but because it fills our heart with abundance. Think of how often we forget the simplest blessings. You opened your eyes this morning. That alone is a miracle, because someone in the world closed their eyes last night and never opened them again. You had water to drink, food to eat, air to breathe. These are things we take for granted, yet they are the very foundations of life. Gratitude is the art of noticing the extraordinary in the ordinary. It is looking at your daily life not with complaints, but with wonder. When you hold gratitude in your heart before sleeping, you reframe the entire day. Instead of thinking, I had so many problems, you whisper, I had so many blessings. In daily life, gratitude changes the way we interact with others. Imagine a colleague at work who helps you finish a task. Often, we rush past, thinking it was their duty. But when you pause to express thanks, you not only honor their effort, you nurture your own humility. Gratitude is never one-sided. It blesses the giver and the receiver. Think of a child who draws something for their parent. The child's joy is not in the drawing itself, but in hearing, "Thank you, this means so much to me." In the same way, when we thank God for what we have, we are telling the Creator, I recognize your hand in my life. I see your love in the smallest details. And the divine responds by filling us with deeper peace. There are people who chase happiness endlessly, thinking it lies in the next achievement, the next purchase, the next destination. But gratitude teaches us that happiness is not found in getting more. It is found in appreciating what is already here. A person with little who is grateful sleeps with peace. A person with much who is ungrateful sleeps with restlessness. Gratitude is the great equalizer. It makes a poor person rich in spirit and keeps a rich person humble. In practical life, you can make gratitude a ritual before sleep. Take just 2 minutes to reflect on 3 things from the day that you are grateful for. Maybe it was a smile from a stranger. Maybe it was a meal shared with someone you love. Maybe it was simply the ability to breathe deeply when stress pressed on your chest. When you do this, you shift your mind from anxiety to serenity. Science even shows that gratitude lowers stress and helps you sleep better. But more than that, it aligns your soul with God. Because when you say thank you, you are admitting that you are not the sole author of your success, not the sole provider of your needs. You are recognizing a higher hand guiding you. Think about the times in life when you prayed for something desperately and later received it. At that moment, didn't you feel gratitude? Now imagine if we carried that same gratitude every day, even without asking for anything new. Gratitude is not a transaction with God, it is a celebration of His constant presence. When a child constantly asks their parent for gifts but never thanks them, the parent feels unappreciated. But when the child says, "Thank you for all you have already given me," the parent's heart softens even more. In the same way, gratitude strengthens our bond with the divine. In moments of difficulty too, gratitude is powerful. Maybe the day was hard, maybe things did not go as planned. But even then, you can be grateful, not for the pain itself, but for the lessons hidden within it. Sometimes God closes one door to redirect us toward a better one. Sometimes a delay is actually protection. When we trust this, gratitude becomes a shield that guards us against despair. We stop asking, "Why me?" and instead whisper, "Thank you for guiding me, even when I do not understand." Before you sleep tonight, let your heart bow in gratitude. Thank God for the people who stood by you, for the opportunities that came your way, for the strength you had to face challenges, and even for the struggles that shaped you. Gratitude turns the bed where you sleep into a sanctuary. It transforms ordinary rest into a divine pause where your soul aligns with peace. And when you wake up tomorrow, you will not rise with heaviness, but with lightness, ready to live another day with purpose. Gratitude to the divine is not just a practice, it is a way of seeing life. It is the secret that turns daily routines into sacred rituals. It is the wisdom that teaches us that nothing is too small to appreciate and nothing is too big to be received without humility. So tonight, when you close your eyes, remember gratitude is the bridge between your heart and God. Walk on that bridge, and you will find that peace is not something you have to chase. It is already here, waiting for you to recognize it. There is a quiet heaviness that many of us carry to bed every night. The weight of unfinished tasks, the sting of unkind words, the frustration of things not going as we planned. We lie down, but our mind does not rest. It replays the mistakes, the arguments, the disappointments, and suddenly the bed feels less like a place of rest and more like a battlefield of thoughts. But what if, before you sleep, you could release these burdens? What if you could place them into the hands of the divine and surrender your day, with all its flaws and imperfections, to a higher wisdom? This is the power of letting go. God did not create us to carry endless bags of worry on our shoulders. Life was never meant to be an unending cycle of stress. Look at the rhythm of nature. Day turns to night, tides rise and fall, seasons change, and trees let go of their leaves when the time comes. Nothing in creation clings, everything flows. When a river flows, it remains pure. When water becomes stagnant, it begins to rot. In the same way, when we cling to our burdens, our mind becomes stagnant. But when we release them, we become like the river, fresh, alive, and free. Think about a student who studies hard for an exam. After writing their paper, the student cannot go back and change the answers. Worrying all night will not change the marks they receive. All they can do is rest, knowing they gave their best. In the same way, once a day is done, it is done. You cannot rewrite the conversations, you cannot undo the actions, you cannot relive the hours, but you can release them, offering them to God as they are, imperfect, flawed, but sincere. When you do this, you give yourself permission to rest in peace, not only at the end of life, but at the end of every day. Consider this: many people pray for rest, but they do not let go of the weight they carry. They ask for peace, but they continue to clutch their anger, their regrets, and their fears. It is like someone asking for clean water while holding on to mud with both hands. Until they release the mud, they cannot receive the water. In the same way, until we let go of our burdens, we cannot receive the peace God is always ready to pour into us. In daily life, letting go can be as simple as whispering before bed, "God, I gave my best today. I release the rest to you." Imagine a mother who has done everything possible for her child, cooked meals, offered comfort, guided with love. When the child finally sleeps, she cannot control what dreams the child will have, but she rests knowing she did what she could. That same trust is what we need with God. Do your best in the day, and then leave the rest in the divine's hands. One of the heaviest burdens we carry is regret. Perhaps you said something you wish you hadn't. Perhaps you failed to meet your own expectations. But holding on to regret is like carrying yesterday's garbage into today's clean room. It only pollutes what could be fresh. When you surrender your regret to God, you are not excusing your mistakes. You are simply admitting, "I am human. I tried, I failed, and now I seek your guidance." This humility brings healing. Another burden is worry about the future. How often do we lie awake thinking about tomorrow's meeting, tomorrow's bills, tomorrow's uncertainties? Yet tomorrow does not exist tonight. All that exists is this moment of rest. To worry about the future is like carrying an umbrella every day, even when the sun is shining, just in case it rains. The umbrella becomes heavier than the rain itself. When you release tomorrow to God, you trust that the one who gave you today will also give you strength for tomorrow. There is a beautiful example in the way children live. When a child is tired, they simply crawl into their parents' lap and fall asleep. They do not think, "What if tomorrow there is no food? What if tomorrow I fall sick? What if I fail in school?" The child rests because they trust their parent completely. In the same way, when you place your burdens in God's lap, you return to that innocence, that unshakable trust. You sleep not because all your problems are solved, but because you know you are held by something greater than your problems. Releasing your burdens is not weakness, it is wisdom. It takes strength to admit that you cannot control everything. It takes courage to let go. Those who refuse to release their burdens live restless lives, always trying to control what is beyond them. But those who surrender find a strange strength. The kind of strength that comes not from clenching their fists, but from opening their palms. So tonight, as you prepare to sleep, ask yourself, what weight am I carrying that I do not need anymore? Is it anger at someone's words? Is it regret over something I did not do? Is it fear of tomorrow's challenges? Place them in front of God. Say, "This is too heavy for me. I give it to you." And then rest, truly rest, knowing that you are never carrying life alone. When you wake up the next morning, you will find yourself lighter. You will rise not with yesterday's weight, but with today's energy. That is the gift of releasing your burdens. It not only gives you peace at night, it gives you strength in the morning. And in that strength, you will discover that life was never meant to be lived in exhaustion, but in harmony with the divine flow. Every night, before you close your eyes, you are given a chance to look back at the story you wrote that day. From the moment you woke up until the moment you lie down, you filled the hours with words, actions, and choices. The question is, if that story were read back to you, would you feel proud of the way you lived? This is why reflection is so important. It is not about judging yourself harshly or drowning in guilt. It is about shining a gentle light on your own actions so that you can grow improve, and walk closer to the divine. When we reflect, we pause to ask, did I speak kindly today? Did I treat people with respect? Did I live in alignment with the values my soul knows to be true? Reflection is like holding a mirror up to your heart. Sometimes the mirror shows beauty, moments of compassion, honesty, and effort. Other times it shows stains, moments where we lost patience, spoke harshly, or chose selfishness. Both are necessary to see, because without noticing, we cannot change. A mirror does not lie, and reflection is the mirror of the soul. Think of a person who drives a car but never looks in the rearview mirror. They may speed ahead, but they risk accidents because they are unaware of what's behind them. In life, if we never look back at how we lived the day, we may repeat the same mistakes again and again. Reflection protects us from blindly repeating what harms us. It helps us notice patterns, and with awareness, we can break them. In daily life, reflection can be as simple as asking yourself at night, was I true to myself today? Imagine a worker who, under pressure, spoke rudely to a colleague. Later, in silence, when he reflects, he realizes his words caused pain. That awareness becomes the seed of change. The next day, he may approach with an apology, or at least a softer attitude. Without reflection, the mistake would pass unnoticed, and the cycle of hurt would continue. Reflection turns small realizations into great transformations. It is also a way to measure whether we are living for the approval of the world or for the smile of the divine. Society may applaud success, wealth, or status, but God notices sincerity, kindness, and humility. Reflection lets us ask